sky may look a little gray, but don't let that get you down here, folks. Good evening and welcome to another exciting edition of Xfinity Racing here on the All Pro Broadcast Network. I'm your host, Dustin Caldwell, and on cameras we got Michael D'Amico. I want to thank you for joining us. We're here at Talladega Speedway, home of the coin term, the big one. Hopefully we won't have one here tonight, but anything can happen when these cars hit over 200 miles an hour in these steep bank tri-oval curves that they got here at this track. A lot of good action, though, we're going to have here tonight for you, folks. 50 laps of Mustang versus Camaro battling it out here in this second of 5 race series, $50 cash grand prize. Winner takes it all. Last weekend, if you were watching with us last weekend of the first race at Daytona, Jeffrey Smith pulled it off very close to the end. Got a good push by Nick Reynolds, was able to edge out George Bark for the win. And we'll see if he's got what it takes here this evening to be able to pull off another win. These guys are racing for points. Every little spot, everything they do matters. They do get points. If you are interested in seeing the total standings and where they stand, check us out on our website at www.all-pro-racing.com. You can find all of our series information there, as well as race results and highlights. And want to thank you here for joining us on Twitch TV this evening. Tonight's sponsors, we want to give a shout out to Apache Graphics and Race Designs. That's Mr. Ed Whittington, always doing an excellent job. You're going to see some paint jobs done by him in the race here tonight. He's also got some paint on Trading Paint, so if you're an iRacer, you want to check this out. The guy's got a lot of great things he's doing over there. And also want to give a shout out to Michelangelo's Painting. If you are in the Mesa, Arizona region of Arizona, you want to definitely check these guys out. They do some excellent jobs. That's Michelangelo's Painting. So we're just getting set to qualify here, folks. We'll be getting some good qualification times here. Cars to watch out for tonight is the 54 of Nick Reynolds, the 02 of Mitch Reeves, and a guy that always tends to show up unexpected at Talladega and puts on a good show is Teddy Wisniewski. This guy is excellent in the Truck Series. I personally got to watch him race in it, and he puts on a clinic out there, so we'll see what he does here tonight in the Xfinity cars. We also have on tap for you the number 51 of Dustin Lee. Guy's always a great contender to watch out for, as well as Danny Rudy. That's Mr. Danny Rudy, Dan's Top Notch. If you was watching last night, we had a heck of a race in the Silver Crown Series race. Came down to almost a photo finish between Mitchell Reeves and Matt Clifton. Matt Clifton is in this race tonight, so we'll see what they got, these Southeast Motorsports boys, and see what they can do for us here tonight. Taking a look at the track temperature and what we're going to be dealing with here today. These guys are going, we got some overcast, so it does come into play with some wind. And you get up at these high speeds, definitely going to see some things. But 77 degrees on the thermometer, that puts track temperature at about 82 degrees Fahrenheit. Get up a little bit of these warmer temperatures may make things a little bit slick. And slick track conditions combined with high speeds, anything can happen, folks. When we do have a caution, and I'm just not trying to jinx anybody by saying this, but I'm guessing we're going to have at least one caution here tonight. You will be seeing the pace car come out. That's that iRacing pace car. It will be pacing the guys at about 80 miles an hour. So for you short track fans out there who think 80 miles an hour is big, because we are at over a 2.5 mile track, 80 miles an hour doesn't seem quite that fast. And as these guys dip into the pits tonight, they will be dropping the speed. Now imagine this. 200 miles an hour, and they're going to have to drop down to about 60 miles an hour to make pit speed. So hopefully these guys can do with that and not have to end up with a black flag, a stop-and-go penalty if they end up speeding in the pits. And right now we got some qualification times coming in. Looks like right now Damon Gilbert, the 68 of Damon Gilbert, is posting the fastest time as we speak. That is posting a time of 52.991. And in second, it got a little bit of juggling around here in second, but we got Stephen Hendren, who's posting a time of 53.001, not too far behind. That's a hundredths of a second right behind Damon Gilbert. And third, it looks like Gary Bauer, the 27, is posting a qualification time of 53.048. A lot of good splits between these guys. Going to make some good action-packed racing here tonight. Dustin Lee, the 51, is in fourth right now, posting a qualification time of 53.057. And the top 5 right now looks like it could be Jay Anderson. Oh, we got a late pole sitter here. Looks like Mitchell Reeves sliding into that first spot, 02 car. 52.95 is his qualification time. Just want to let you guys know here, we always appreciate you tuning in here to the All Pro Broadcast Network. We got a lot of good things coming on tap. Some things we do have in the works for people who are interested in racing. We do have some garb coming out, some swag, if you will, t-shirts, decals. We will be looking to get some of our logos up onto an actual Xfinity car, so stay tuned for that. We'll have more information as that progresses, but trying to get some good championship wear for our league championship winners. These guys will be looking to have an All-Pro champion shirt and the series that's on it. If you're interested in more in that, what we got, you can also check us out on Facebook, All Pro Racing on Facebook. If you're an iRacer and want to get in on the action, all you have to do is check out our website. Website has all the information there. That's www.all-pro-racing.com. And we got about 5 seconds here, and the drivers will be finishing up qualification and moving over to the grid. And we'll get the rundown of the pole as it stands. Looks like right now Mitchell Reeves did hold on to the pole. So we'll be getting that here. Take a look at the grid here when we get seconds here. Let the drivers get up to their respective positions. And as they're making their way up here, looks like Mitchell Reeves and Damon Gilbert will be in the front two slots here tonight to start off the race. Mitchell Reeves posted a final qualification time of 52.985. So as we take a look at it, there's Mitchell Reeves in that Southeast Motorsports Bass Tracker car, 02. Is outside, we have the red car of number 68, Damon Gilbert. And in the second row, you have the Goodwrench car, Stephen Hendren, the Dale Earnhardt Sr. tribute car. Jeffrey Smith, last week's winner in Daytona, that Havoline number 28. Going to be a good contender here tonight. The 27 of Gary Bauer is behind him on the inside. To his outside is the Olive Hill Welding, 51 car of Dustin Lee. Behind him, you have the Wins Car Care products of Jay Anderson. Beautiful purple car there, number 18. To his outside, you have Mr. Jeff T. Martin, another Southeast Motorsports guy. To his inside, you got the 88 of Karsten Dijon Tomaso. And boy, if that's a 25-cent word if I ever heard one myself. Interesting last name. But he's rocking the Dewshine car. To his outside, you got the 54 of Nick Reynolds, another Southeast Motorsports guy. That Bass Pro Shops car. Behind him, you got the 55 of Roderick Norman in that Rockin' Canada car. To his outside, you got Ryan Gavel in the number 60. Interesting looking paint job on that Mustang. Behind him on the inside, you got the number 30 of George Barrage in that Chevy Camaro blue and white car. To the outside of him, you have Christopher Matas in the All Pro Racing League car, number 24. And to the inside of the next row, you have Kelly Albright and the beautiful flames on that car, green with blue flames. To his outside, you got Michael Frank in the number 29, Georgia car, Ford Mustang. On the inside of the next row, you got Marcus Potts in that Nidco yellow and blue car. To his outside, you got the number 26, Stephen W. Thomas. And on looking back, we got Mason White, 78. You got 38 of Mason Kane. Two Masons in a row there. Then you got Danny Rudy, number 13. That Dan's top-notch heating and cooling car. To his outside, you got Jason M. Stewart of the 04. Raymond Rittenauer and Brandon Jackson looks like they're going to rent out field for qualification times, but Ryan Eckstein, Teddy Wisniewski will be the last two. So we got 25 cars in the race here tonight, and as they make their way around the back stretch, they're going to be going green here with Damon Gilbert and Mitchell Reeves taking us to the green flag. As you see, that iRacing Mustang taking that middle groove, making it work for him already. And he's going to dip into the pits here. And one thing to notice about Talladega, folks, one thing to notice here, the start-finish line does not go on a straightaway like you would expect. Because this is a tri-oval track, it is down on an actual curve. So as you see the cars coming down here, when they get around that corner, that's where the start-finish line will be, right into this grandstands of about 80,000 seats here at Talladega. So pace car dips in. We're going to be set to go green. Mitchell Reeves, Damon Gilbert in the front 2 slots. And here we go. Let's go racing, boys. Green flag is out, and we're off in the second of 5 race series here in the $50 grand prize Dash for Cash. Winner takes it all. Mitchell Reeves out to a nice lead already, trying to make that low groove work, and this is where bump drafting comes into play. Definitely got to have some friends out here on the track if you want to gain some positions. As you get out of that draft, you're not going to be going very far very quickly. As they make their way out of turn 2 into the backstretch, Mitchell Reeves, and it looks like Damon Gilbert and 3 of Stephen Hendren now moving up. Gilbert giving him a nice push. Stephen Hendren was a great competitor in last week's race at Daytona, and right there's Jeffrey Smith to the high groove on the outside of Mitchell Reeves. And they're making their way into turns 3 and into turn 4. And it looks like Mitchell Reeves is going to try to get into that draft, but look at that 28 car of Jeffrey Smith trying to make it work for him. And the 51 of Dustin Lee is giving the 28 a good push up into that middle groove. Trying to make that work here. Looks like everybody is settling into their spots now. Got the start of the race anxiety out of them. First couple laps are in the books out of this 50-lap race here at Talladega. And as we see right now, looks like that middle groove's working, and look at that. Looks like the 55 of Roderick Norman going to the high groove to make it 3 wide there on the back. And a little bit of bump. And oh, the 20 of Matt Clifton. I believe that was Matt Clifton. May have caused it right there. You get into this three wide action, and taking a look at the instant replay, maybe the 18 of Jay Anderson, but I see the 29 car of Michael Frank. 29 car of Michael Frank got a little bit loose there, went down into the 18 into the 60, and wow. I don't know if we could qualify this was as quote-unquote the big one just yet, but it is a big wreck there in that turn 2 laps into this race. And as we take a look at the replay here, Karsten Dijon Tomaso, wow. Really involved in that wreck, got spun around there. He definitely got the wrong end of that deal as he went into that wreck. Fortunate for him. Hopefully there's not too much deal. He actually went paint side up, wheels up into the air. Spun around. My goodness. I hope everything's okay with him. Luckily the car did come back down on all fours. 3 laps now, are in the books here at Talladega, this second of 5 series race. We're going to take a short commercial break, and we'll be back after a word from our sponsor. Welcome back, everyone, to this second of 5 series race here at Talladega Motor Speedway on this lovely Tuesday evening. I'm Dustin Caldwell, and on cameras is Michael D'Amico. We want to thank you for tuning in here to the All-Pro Broadcast Network. If you are just joining us here, we are 4 laps into this 50-lap race, about to be 5 laps into this 50-lap race. So, a lot of good race action. We did have an accident earlier on. Unfortunately, looks like a couple of cars are going to be out of the race because of that. Ryan Eckstein and Carson Dijon Tomaso are going a lap down. And as it sits right now, looks like the number 3 Dale Earnhardt Sr. tribute car of Steve Hendren is your race leader, followed by the red car of Damon Gilbert. And in third position, we get that Havoline number 28 Jeffrey Smith, last week's winner. Qualified 4th here tonight, and he's running 3rd. You got Mitchell Reeves in 4th, Dustin Lee in 5th. Thinning down into your top 10, you got Jeff T. Martin, Gary Bauer, Roderick Norman, Mason Kane, Stephen Thomas, rounding out your top 10 here at Talladega. Want to give a good shout out to our sponsors, Apache Race Graphics and Designs. Check them out on Trading Paints. If you're an iRacer, they do a lot of good trading paints here tonight, or paint schemes that you're seeing here tonight. If I'm not mistaken, I believe the number 3 tribute car, Dale Earnhardt Sr., is an Apache graphic race design done by Ed Whittington. If you are interested in racing in any of this, check us out on our website, www.all-pro-racing.com. Got a lot of good things. Monday nights we're running some Silver Crown cars, so if you're an open wheel fan, don't really care for sprint cars and want to get some big speedway action, they'll be at Chicago next Monday night. So Silver Crown action coming at you. There is a bi-weekly 50-50 race that goes on. You can get all that information and more on our website. Check it out. The website again is www.all-pro-racing.com. We are also on Facebook. You can check us out at Facebook. All Pro Racing there as well. And as we take a look at the pace car now pacing around, I believe once we cross the start-finish line, we will be seeing the lights come off of that pace car. And we'll be set to go back green. Steve Hendren and Damon Gilbert should be your front 2, taking us back green. And as predicted there, the lights come off of that pace car as they make their way across the start-finish line. Guys will be starting to bunch up. For a 2 will be Steve Hendren, Damon Gilbert. Behind them, you got Jeffrey Smith and Mitchell Reeves. Followed by Dustin Lee, Jeff T. Martin, Gary Bauer, Roderick Norman, Mason Kane, Stephen Thomas. Those are your top 10s as we are in 6 laps of this race, of this 50-lap race here at Talladega. They are running the Camaro and Mustang cars here tonight. That is the 2 models that you'll see in the Xfinity Series. So, good old Chevy Ford battle. And it looks like Steve Hendren wants the outside lane. The pole sitter, or excuse me, the race leader gets his choice as they go back to green. So he will be taking the outside as they make their way down the backstretch. Him and Damon Gilbert both switch positions. Fortunate event for the few drivers here early on. Ryan Eckstein and Carson Dijon Tomaso were victims of a tragic incident on turn 3 heading into turn 4 that claimed about 3 or 4 cars and a lot of damaged cars. Nick Reynolds, the guy you always see up in the front, was a victim of that, and he's currently sitting in about 26th position. So I apologize on it earlier. We had 28 cars starting here tonight. So as they make their way down the front stretch, again, folks, the start-finish line is on the turn. We'll be seeing the pace car drop down into the pits. There it goes. And we're going to be set to go green. Stephen Hendren, Damon Gilbert, your front 2. Stephen Hendren on the outside, Damon Gilbert on the inside. And here comes the green flag. We're going on green. And already, Stephen Hendren making that middle groove work. It looks like Damon Gilbert's got some push on the bottom from that 28 Havoline. Fortunately, it's not going to be enough, and Stephen Hendren slowly moves into the first slot over Damon Gilbert heading into turn 1. And we got some 2 wide action going as we make our way into the turn 2. Coming into the back stretch, the number 20 car. You got the 02 of Mitchell Reeves back there by Dustin Lee. And it looks like the 28's going to try to get a little bit of draft, get some draft help there from Mitchell Reeves. And we are still too wide heading into the front. That's number 3 cars getting all that he can get from Damon Gilbert. And you can see why the middle groove is working. You got the guys up there trying to make it work. The 14 of Jeff T. Martin now moving up there behind Mitchell Reeves. As we take a look back, everybody looks like they want to be on that majority rules here at Talladega, and it looks like majority is in the lower groove at this point in time. And we're going to see some moves action going in here into this next turn. And as we see him make way into the backstretch, Steve Hendren still your race leader. Again, folks, he's cooking down this track around 200 miles an hour. And as they're going to be racing here, the track's going to start to heat up even more, and that's going to present more track slick conditions. But right now, Mitchell Reeves pushing that number 28 Havoline of Jeffrey. Oh, we got a little bit of blink action there in the 38. Mason Kane into the wall. I don't know if it's going to draw a caution. Might have had a little bit of connection issues, but the 28 car of Jeffrey Smith takes the lead. But look, and there goes the caution. Caution is out. Looks like George Barrage was involved in that one. Taking a look at George Barrage here as he's driving. It looks like the 32 there got into his back quarter panel and sent him loose. That's Kelly Albright. Kelly Albright sent him into the wall. Fortunately, that's going to claim a couple other cars there. I believe the number 60 was involved in it. The 18 there. 18 of Jay Anderson involved, and the 13 as well of Danny Rudy. Doesn't look like too much damage, just looks like a little bit of contact and some spin outs. So fortunately, we have another accident here within the first lap. That's 2 cautions here tonight within the first 10 laps of this race. But I believe Jeffrey Smith was able to edge over Mitchell Reeves there, and he's still going to be your race leader. But we're gonna go ahead and see if we can get Mitchell Reeves on the line here while they're cautioning.
Yeah, because we're
Mitchell Reeves. This is Dustin Caldwell in the booth. Are you there, bud?
Yes, sir.
Looks like you're getting some good draft push here tonight, getting that middle groove working for you. Looks like he was able to help Jeffrey Smith get up there to the lead. But how do you feel this race is going so far?
Well, I just hope we can finish it. We're a lot of people getting antsy there in the back, it seems like, but it's already very, very evident that the middle lane is going to be the place to be. Bottom, it's always been the preferred, but with the conditions tonight, I think the middle lane is going to win this race. It's already been, I started pole and lost it within 5 seconds being on the bottom. So I definitely think the second lane is going to be the place to win this race tonight. It should be pretty fun to watch.
Yeah, it definitely makes for a good race action. Looks like one groove has it on the straightaway and the other one has it in the curves. Do you feel like the middle groove is in the curves is where it's going to be?
Oh, yeah, and, that's not even really including what's going to happen when we start going 3 wide later on in this race. We were doing some testing there in the third lane earlier, and personally, third lane, to me, I've always liked running the third lane just because I just like being to the outside, but it should be a lot of fun. It really does seem like the outside lanes, though, tonight, unlike Daytona, have a really good advantage compared to the bottom, so it should be a lot of fun racing for the lead.
Well, best of luck to you. You're currently sitting 7 in points. We'll hopefully see you can get up in the top 5, maybe pull away a win at this race here tonight at Talladega.
Thanks, Dustin.
Now there's Mitchell Reeves for you, ladies and gentlemen. He is sitting in second position right there behind the 28 Havoline of Jeffrey Smith. Let's go see if we can get Jeffrey Smith here on the line while we're cautioned here. Jeffrey Smith, this is Dustin Caldwell. How are you, buddy?
Pretty good there, Dustin. How you doing?
Not too bad. You're able to get some good draft action there with Mitchell Reeves getting you up into the lead. I mean, you're not a not a stranger to the lead of the race, as we saw you lead a lot of laps and pull off the win at Daytona last week. How do you feel this race is going for you here this evening?
Well, so far so good. I led 6 last week. I'd like to lead some more tonight.
Well, you definitely, if you weren't leading, you were at least in the top 3 last week, and right now you are the race leader going back to green here, about lap 12, lap 13. So, want to say any shout-outs you'd like to give to anybody here while you got you on the air?
Man, I want to just give a shout-out to All Pro Racing and Michael DeVico putting on these kind of races, man. A bunch of good guys he's running with, and I enjoy racing with him, man. I'm back here for good, I thought.
Well, we appreciate that, and best of luck to you in the rest of this race here tonight.
Thank you there, Dustin.
All right, folks, we are 11, making our way around the front stretch into 12. Jeffrey Smith, who we just talked to, is your race leader, that number 28 Havoline Camaro. Getting some good action there with Mitchell Reeves, able to make it up to the front. Jeffrey Smith qualified 4th, and he is currently your race leader. But your pole sitter is right there with him. That was Mitchell Reeves, the 02 car, that Southeast Motorsports Bass Pro Shops car. And it looks like we're going to have another lap here of Elise pacing as we make our way around. Again, want to give a shout out to our sponsors, Apache Graphics and Race Designs. That's Ed Whittington. Does a lot of good jobs. You've seen Steve Hendren's car, that Dale Earnhardt tribute car. As far as to my knowledge, Ed Whittington did the paint scheme on that. It's a beautiful paint job on that car. You can find a lot of his stuff on Trading Paints. Check it out. He also did our website. I forgot to mention that earlier. Apache Graphics and Race Designs designed the All Pro Racing website. And if you're interested in that and just tuning in, check it out, www.all-pro-racing.com. You can find all of our series events going on, race results, as well as point standings, and all the type of action that we got going on. Again, wanted to let people know that we are in the midst of getting some All-Pro Racing apparel out there, if you will. Some shirts, some decals, things like that. We will be working on getting them out available to people for purchase. As well as, because we like to do cash prizes, I mean, the race that you're seeing here tonight is race 2. We're in week 2 of a 5-week race, $50 grand prize. All Pro does pay out cash prizes in our races, so a lot of good things you can get involved. If you are an iRacer and you want to get in on that action, check it out, www.all-pro-racing.com. Find us on Facebook at All Pro Racing. But we want to thank everybody here for tuning in here tonight on the All Pro Broadcast Network. I'm Dustin Caldwell, and on cameras is Michael D'Amico. We are 12 laps, 13. I believe we'll be seeing lap 14. Heading into lap 14, we'll be taking a screen here as the iRacing Mustang pace car makes its way around the start-finish line here. Top 5 as it stands, the 28 of Jeffrey Smith is your race leader, followed by Mitchell Reeves' 02 car in second. In third place, you got Jeff T. Martin, that number 14 car, and as well as the 55 in number 4 of Roderick Norman, and Brandon Haley moving up into the 5th slot. Brandon Haley qualified 29th in this race, or excuse me, he was in 29th position, didn't post a qualification time. So for him to go from 29th to 5th is amazing. Now we'll have to see what he does with that, moving that far up the field. But as we look now, the pace car's lights have come off as they're making their way out of turn 2 into the backstretch. We will be going green. Jeffrey Smith, Mitchell Reeves up front. Jeff T. Martin, Roderick Norman are the cars behind him. Who's going to have the better draft? Who's going to have the better push? Mitchell Reeves said he thinks that middle groove's going to work. Possibly the high groove if they can get 3 wide. But we'll have to see who's going to work. I believe Jeff T. Martin's going to take in Havoline. He may come up, but Roderick Norman's right there on the outside. So we'll have to see who's push and who can draft the best and get out ahead. They're making our way into turn 3 now. Keep an eye on Jeff Smith. This guy is known for a good restart, but Mitchell Reeves as well. There it goes. We are green flag, back racing. And as they head into turn 1, it looks like Jeffrey Smith and that low groove is going to get a little bit extra on the corner. Jeff T. Martin giving Jeffrey Smith a good push. And And Roderick Norman trying to give Mitchell Reeves a good push. It looks like guys are splitting out now on the backstretch, trying to find their preferred groove of the race. Still trying to make it work for them. And as they head into the turn, you're still got almost neck and neck there with Jeffrey Smith and Mitchell Reeves. And it looks like as they come in, maybe a little bit of contact there. Too wide. And sometimes this could be the good and the bad. You get into these long super speedway races, over 2.5 miles, 2 2/3 to be exact. Almost seems like kind of like similar to a truck driver on a long road, a long trip. It looks like 14 and 28 are going to get a little bit of contact there as they make their way into the backstretch. No harm, no foul there. Everybody able to keep their car under control. And look at that commanding move by Mitchell Reeves, diving into the lower groove to make that work. He's going to become your race leader here over Jeffrey Smith. What a move by Mitchell Reeves into that turn. Wasn't finding much up on the high group, but looky here, you got Ryan Gavel in that 60 car now, getting some good push by the 27 of Gary Bauer, and he's trying to get down over a run in front of Mitchell Reeves. And it looks like he wasn't given the clear by his spotter. But Roderick Norman now coming up out of that middle group down low in front of Mitchell Reeves, was able to assume race lead here into the 16th lap of this 50-lap race at Talladega. At Canadian 55, working that lower groove. Looks like Ryan Gavel wanted to move in onto that lower groove. Spotter said no. But look at that 27 of Gary Bauer pushing him now, making it work. It looks like, as we see this, the middle groove is working on the straightaways. The lower groove definitely has advantage on the corner. Puts an interesting combination. These cars find themselves ahead a little bit, then they get pushed back. Like as you see now, the 55 of Roderick Norman on that lower groove as they head into turns 1 and 2. But watch as they come into the straightaway. Right there, the number 60 car of Ryan Gavel now moving up. This makes for great racing action, folks. He needs to get up ahead and get that clear from his spotter. He's going to try to make a move, I believe, in this current corner. And there he goes. Ryan Gavel, the number 60 car, moving down ahead of Roderick Norman to take the race lead on the 17th lap of this race. But hold on tight, kids. Here's number 27, Gary Bauer, being pushed by Stephen Hendren, the number 3 Dale Earnhardt Senior Tribute car. And as we see down the back stretch, looks like the lower groove's going to get a little bit of push here, but as we move into the corner, you should see the 60 edge away. And the 27 car now neck and neck with Roderick Norman. But watch this, as they come into the back stretch, my goodness, look at that that draft pattern in that middle groove is definitely working for them. As they move up to get an edge, this is exactly where Gary Bauer was able to move ahead of Roderick Norman. And now Ryan Gavel is able to move ahead of Roderick Norman, and Gary Bauer trying to do the same in that 27 car. And it looks like the race lead is pretty well solid neck and neck right now. As we take a look back there, and Brandon Haley in that number 11 Adidas car. He was 5th heading back into this green and slid back into the 9th position. Looks like he's pretty steady right there beside, the 51 of Dustin Lee. Damon Gilbert right in front of Dustin Lee. Damon Gilbert currently running in 5th position. And now you got some 3-wide action there as they head into the turn. Look at that 3-wide action. Scary place to be in the middle groove on that 3-wide. Sometimes get bounced around like a ping pong ball. As long as everybody holds their lines, everything goes good. And look at this 3-wide action here as they make their way around the front stretch. Beautiful. Everybody trying to push, get ahead. And it looks like Roderick Norman moving up high out of that middle groove is going to let, I believe it's a 27 by on that lower groove. And As we take a look here, looks like Stephen Hendren assumes race lead, but not for long, because here comes the 55 being pushed by that 28 car of Jeffrey Smith. And middle groove now looks like it's working. Roderick Norman out back in lead. We're going to see if he stays with the middle groove or moves down into the lower groove as they make their way down the front stretch to the start-finish line. What a move there. And as we take a look, that number 3 car, don't count him out yet. That lower groove's working, but on the high side is Damon Gilbert. That 68 car of Damon Gilbert trying to make that high side work for him. What a move! It's amazing 3-wide action, almost 4-wide action as we come into the backstretch right there by Mitchell Reeves and Matt Clifton. And as they make their way around now, still edging out a little bit ahead in the corner is Stephen Hendren, is the race leader here on lap 21, coming down the front stretch into lap 22 of this 50-lap race. If we don't see a caution here for too long, I think within the next maybe 5-10 laps at most, we should see some pitting action coming on from these guys. They are running 50% fuel, so it's possible we'll have at least one pit. If there is a caution, we'll have to keep an eye out as well. They may be ducking into the pits trying to get some fuel. Maybe a tire, 2 tires, maybe 4. Looks like that lower groove is winning. And right now, the number 60 car of Ryan Gavel, beautiful move, moving up ahead of the 27 of Gary Bauer, trying to make a move on Steve Hendren. It's not working for him. Looks like it kind of stalled on him. He had a good move. And now the 11 of Brandon Haley is up in the action. Again, Brandon Haley, the man of the night, running in 29th position at the start of this race, is currently in 4th position. Beautiful move. Definitely cut his way through the field. And Damon Gilbert now falling back into some positions, not getting any help on that high groove. Going to have to settle back into the middle groove somewhere. But look at this battle up here in the front between the number 60 of Ryan Gavel and number 3, Stephen Hendren. These guys trying to get as much momentum as they can. And right now we have the 78 of Mason White there right beside Roderick Norman in that 55 Blue Canada car. And as they make their way around, you can see these cars are definitely... Yep, there he goes. Ryan Gavel moving into that lower groove, wants to make it work for him. Stephen Hendren's going to come up and give him a little bit of nudge. I don't think he was too happy with that move, and he's letting them know it. Getting into the bumper of that 60. Seems like as Ryan Gavel came down into that lower groove, he got slower. Right now, Steve Hendren is just trying to bump draft off and make him pull him around the track. And as you see these cars, when they get smooth or get moving at such a fast pace, the air around them, they can get right up on another car and actually doesn't have to work as hard as the other car. So that 60 in the clean air is working, where the number 3 car is just taking them for a ride. And as we move around, I believe we saw the 11 of Brandon Haley going into the pits. So some guys now are making their way into the pits. Other guys want to stay out. Some of your veteran drivers are staying out. They know exactly when to pit. But your race leaders for the most part of this race, number 60 Ryan Gavel, number 3 Steve Hendren, are staying out in the 27 of Gary Bauer in that middle groove, trying to get some positions there. Damon Gilbert, who tried to take the high groove earlier, fell back, but is now in 4th position, right there in front of Dustin Lee, that 51 car. And there goes the 60 into the pits. Ryan Gavel, your race leader, is now pitting here on lap 25. So Stephen Hendren's going to stay out for another few laps, see if he can get some good positioning. And this is where the chess game of NASCAR comes into play, folks, in this oval track racing. You got to find the right time to pit that's going to give you the best track position. And as we take a look in the 60 in the pits, Looks like he's just getting some fuel. Gonna get back into this race. These 50-lap races don't particularly would need a lot of tires, but you know, if they spin out or things like that, some situations would call for it. Dave Hendren's gonna stay out again for another lap. This guy definitely pushing this car to the limit. Damon Gilbert right on the bumper of the number 3. And now you have the 33 of Marcus Potts trying to push Ryan Gavel, or excuse me, 27 of Gary Bauer, trying to push them in that middle groove and make it work. Right now, it looks like the lower groove is the dominant groove. And as they make their way up into lapping cars here, the 54 of Nick Reynolds there getting lapped now by the leaders. He's going to have to go high, let everybody by. And by that, was able to get enough momentum for the 27 car to move in front of Steve Hendren. As he moves down, he's going to get some bump draft going on from the number 3. 33 is going to fall back into the 3rd slot, right there, right in front of David Gilbert. And we can take a look back here in 8th position. Michael Frank, in that 29, getting some help from Raymond Rittenauer II. To above them is the 88 of Carson Dijon Tomaso, who was involved in that first caution, is getting some pushed by the 38. Right there of Mason Kane. That's where in these big speedways you need a friend, folks. You need somebody that's going to work with you. The draft is what's going to help move your car faster around the track than if you were running solo. And as we can see right now, the race leader, Gary Bauer, the number 27 car, right ahead of Stephen Hendren. And it looks like Roderick Norman's going to get past. But don't let that fool you, folks. These guys who are getting past and getting lapped are ones that pitted early. They will be catching up here when the race leaders go into the pits. And it looks like the 04 of Jason Stewart's going to be heading into the pits this time around. He's qualified 22nd and is now in the 6th position. And your race leader, number 27, Gary Bauer, on lap 29, moving into lap 30 of this race, this 50-lap race. As we take a look now, Greg Webb. Greg Webb, who is moving into the pits now. We see some of these other guys coming down to 22. We take a look at the number 93 car for a moment here, who's in the pits. That is an Apache Graphics and Race Designs car, paint scheme car. Beautiful paint job done by Ed Whittington. Looks like Greg Webb is just going to take some fuel as he makes his way out of the pits. That is one of our sponsors here tonight, folks, Apache Graphics and Race Designs. Check him out on Trading Paints. He's got a lot of good stuff there. Or on Facebook, Apache Graphics and Race Designs. Also, Michelangelo's Painting. Want to give a shout out to those guys. Mr. Michael D'Amico does a lot of great job, a lot of good camera action, a lot of other great things he does for the all-pro racing community. We are 31 laps of this 50-lap race here at Talladega, the second of 5 series race. $50 grand prize, dash for the cash. And again, things you do in this race, you get points for. You can find all that beautiful information done and a nice clean chart on our website, www.all-pro-racing.com. You can also find more of our series information there as well. But right now, here on lap 31, 27 of Gary Bauer is your race leader, followed by the number 3 Dale Earnhardt Senior Tribute car of Stephen Hendren, followed by Marcus Potts, Damon Gilbert, Dustin Lee, Jeffrey Smith. Jeffrey Smith was your first race winner at Daytona. What a race it came down to. George Bark and Jeffrey Smith were... George Bark was in the low groove. Jeffrey Smith was in the middle groove. And right at the last, I would say last turn 4 of Daytona, got a good push behind Nick Reynolds and was able to take the lead at the very last moment and win that race, securing the 55 points he currently has in this series. But there goes the 27 here on lap 32. The 27 of Gary Bauer will be pitting out as we take a look at him pitting in here. Gary Bauer now goes into the pits. We'll see if he takes any tires. I believe he's just going to take fuel. We'll have to see what he does. And Stephen Hendren right there with him as well. Again, they have to drop down to 60 miles an hour. Amazing feat to have to do that. It looks like both cars are just taking some fuel. And who's going to come off first? Will it be Steve Hendren or Gary Bauer? Steve Hendren! Oh! Gary Bauer taking 2 tires. Wow. Pivotal move. We'll have to see if that plays out for him. Stephen Hendren just said gas and go. But maybe they're cooking something up in that 27 car. He took 2 tires on the outside. Sometimes moves like that are what win your races, folks. We'll have to see and stay tuned. See what he does here. Lap 33 of this 50-lap race. And right now, your front pack, your front 3, Stephen Hendren, 51 of Dustin Lee, 68 of Damon Gilbert, all bumping together, trying to make a good bump draft go. Make it work for them, and slowly climbing up there is the 13 car. That's Danny Rudy. He's currently 3 laps down. But, you know, positioning is anything. Don't finish, you're not going to get many points. I believe these guys just get 2 points for finishing the race. So everything you do, everywhere, you know, gaining positions, taking a look at some of these, you know, leading laps, getting the pole position, you know, minimizing incidents. Those things are what's going to get you points for this race. Interesting setup we have here on the All-Pro Racing League. But if you are just joining us here tonight, I'm Dustin Caldwell. On cameras is Michael D'Amico. I want to thank you for tuning into the All-Pro Broadcast Network. We are 31 laps, about to be 32 laps into this 50-lap race. Race number 2 of 5 at this is at Talladega Speedway. And this is the Super Speedway race. If you want to know where we're at next week, folks, tune in. You know, next week we'll be at Auto Club. That's a beautiful track to watch. We want to bring you a lot of good racing action on some super speedways. A lot of people, you know, you look at the race fans out there and you ask the average NASCAR fan, what tracks do you like? And I'm pretty sure you're going to get a 50-50 response. A lot of people like the short tracks, you know, the Martinsville, you know, smaller type style tracks. But a lot of people, you know, on the flip side of the coin, like the super speedways, they like to see these cars do about 200 miles an hour. You know, fortunately, the big wrecks happen, but that's part of the fans' excitement for the race. We don't want to see anybody get hurt or see anything happen, but that does add a element to the excitement of super speedway racing. But as we take a look now, Dustin Lee was able to secure the lead over Stephen Hendren, so the 51 of Dustin Lee is your race leader in lap 36 here, but don't look too fast. Right there, the number 3 of Steve Hendren making that low groove work, and look at that 28 of Jeffrey Smith with Mitchell Reeves. We saw this happen last week. You know, Jeffrey Smith getting up there with somebody, and he makes a move. Well, he needs a partner. It looks like he's got one on the high groove now. I believe that's Matt Clifton moving there with him. Matt Clifton currently 6 laps down. He's trying to give Jeffrey Smith all the momentum he can give on that third groove, on that high groove, trying to make it work for him as they go 3 wide into turn 1. Get the 78 in the low, Mitchell Reeves, and now Jeffrey Smith moves down into that middle groove. That's some good racecraft and situational awareness. You know you're going to lose a lot of positions, and while you have the opening, dive into that middle groove, save yourself losing. And as we saw, Robert tried to make that high groove work, and fell back about 6 positions. And right there, Matt Clifton trying to give him a good push up around Mitchell Reeves. There goes Mitchell Reeves above Dustin Lee. And right there's Jeffrey Smith with him. We are 3 wide heading into the front stretch of this racetrack. There goes Mitchell Reeves, Jeffrey Smith, Matt Clifton, giving a good push as they cross the start-finish line. Mitchell Reeves with the move down in the inside in front of Steve Hendren in that middle groove. That's where he said he thinks it's going to work. It's going to be the groove to win the race. And Jeffrey Smith remains in there with Matt Clifton in that middle groove. And they're neck and neck right there with Steve Hendren and Dustin Lee. But Mitchell Reeves right now is your race leader as they make their way through the back stretch. The 28 of Jeffrey Smith edging out Mitchell Reeves. Close race we have here on lap 38 of this 50-lap race. Got 12 to go. Will be 11 when they cross the start-finish line here. Oh, Steve Hendren! Steve Hendren blew an engine! I don't believe it, and he is sliding through the pits. That won't draw a caution, folks. That's not going to draw a caution. He was able to get off the track in time. Unfortunate events for him. That is an unfortunate event. Now let's see if we could try to get him on the line. Wow. Tough break for Stephen Hendren. He was doing so well. Led some laps here tonight, and a blown engine looks like it's going to be his fate here at Talladega. Unfortunate events for Stephen Hendren here. He is getting word here now that, yeah, he will be, looks like, probably out of the rest of this race as we got 10 laps to go here in this 50-lap race at Talladega. Oh, and there's a bump. Number 38 getting tossed around. And I don't see a caution flag coming out. Take a look at that, the 38 car. My goodness, of Mason Kane. He's one lap down. As they come around, looks like he's going to come up right in front of everybody, and they had to part like the Red Sea around him. Everybody with that draft action going on. Send him into the apron, into the wall. That may be all she wrote there for Mason Kane. But as we take a look live here, the 51 of Dustin Lee and Damon Gilbert making that middle groove work. Mitchell Reeves right there behind Jeffrey Smith. And you also have the 33 of Marcus Potts now. And as they move into lap traffic, this presents the problem. Jeffrey Smith getting hung up by the 32 car. Excuse me. He has to go around, forcing him to go high. Typically, when you see this, there's almost like a sportsman conduct that you'll see out there, folks. When you're passing lap traffic should go high and give privilege to those on the lead lap. And by the 32 car not exercising that, fortunately, may have cost Jeffrey Smith this race. Jeffrey Smith moved back into 5th position. Looks like he's going to be about 1.2 seconds off the lead. Dustin Lee and Marcus Potts now battling it out for first. I believe the 66 car. I'm trying to look down here and figure out. Or the 99, excuse me. 99 there of Brandon Jackson. He is a lap down. So even though it looks like he may be rocking that 4th position, he is a lap down, unfortunately. But he's still trying to give his momentum to Marcus Potts there in that middle groove. And as we see, Mitchell Reeves is moving his way up right now. So good neck-and-neck battle here. About 7 laps to go here at Talladega. Dustin Lee and Damon Gilbert moving out ahead now. And the 33 car is going to move right in front of Mitchell Reeves, Marcus Potts. Mitchell Reeves doesn't like that. He tries to go to the middle groove, pushes them out. and gets right there behind Damon Gilbert. So amazingly, we only had a few cautions here tonight. Typically you'd see one, but you know, as we get around 5 laps to go, and if you are a NASCAR fan, you know these last few laps when the tension's built, and in a points race, series race like this, every point matters. We may see another caution come the last few laps. We are 3 wide on the back stretch there. The 33 of Marcus Potts trying to make it work. Dustin Lee, nobody there to help him in the middle groove. He's going to fall back now. Damon Gilbert moves up into the middle groove, and Marcus Potts now moves down, and we have another caution here on lap 44. Lap 44. Looks like to be the 25 of Teddy Wisniewski. And trying to look to see who was all involved in that accident. Like 22 there, Ryan Eckstein. Fortunately, he was involved in that yellow and blue Wrangler car. And as we take a look at another replay here, Ryan Eckstein. Somebody. What an incident. Wow. Looks like Brandon Haley was the cause of that accident. A number 11 Adidas car, Brandon Haley, may have come to a stop on the track, causing Ryan Eckstein to get into him. We have 5 laps to go here, and we're cautioning in this race. Marcus Potts is your race leader. And Damon Gilbert's right there. See if we can get Damon Gilbert on the line. Don't believe we're going to be able to reach him. We'll try to see if we can get somebody here on the line for you. Ryan, let's see if we can get Ryan Eckstein.
Now fucking Jeff
Ryan Eckstein, this is Dustin Caldwell in the booth. How you doing, buddy?
Oh, I'm all right, man.
Tough break for you there. If you looked at the replay in that gnarly accident that happened there on the backstretch, tell me what happened. Was a car stopped on the track back there?
Yeah, it kind of looked like it was somebody could have got off the track, but they were stopped right in the middle to bring a caution out, I think, so everybody could get caught up, and we got taken out, man. We were running. We were coming up there.
Yeah, it definitely looked like you had some good positioning, some good moves on that race. You were digging your way through the track all night. I know you didn't. Taking a look here, seeing where you started out, this race didn't pan out the way you thought. Tough break, but you were able to make some moves through the track tonight. Anybody you want to give a shout out while I got you on the line here?
Oh, yeah, just give a shout out to Michael D'Amico on the cameras, Team All Pro for sponsoring me, and Apache Graphics, all them guys, man, help out a lot tonight. So just sucks we got taken out. We'll get them next time.
Yeah, you looked like you qualified 25th, or didn't post a qualifying time, so you started 25th tonight. Was able to move, I think you've seen you as high as the 6th position, 5th position there tonight. So you did make some good moves. Unfortunately, it didn't end up the way you want. I apologize to hear on that, and sorry for your team. But, fortunately, that's not the way a racer wants to go out.
Yeah, it's all right. Teddy and Greg, man, we had an awesome strategy. We had Ed on the spot watching us, and we felt like we were going to have something for him there at the end because we felt everybody else had to pit. We were good on fuel, so we're just trying to get Team All Pro a win, and it didn't work out.
Well, best of luck in the repairs on that car, and hopefully we'll see you here back next week at Auto Club.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take a word from our sponsor real quick. Dan's Top Notch Heating and Cooling. We'll be back after a word. Welcome back, everyone, and thank you for tuning in to the All Pro Broadcast Network. I'm Dustin Caldwell, and on camera says Michael D'Amico. If you're just tuning in, this is the best part of the race you want to see, the finish. We are on lap 48 of this 50-lap race of the second race of a 5 Series race, Dash for Cash, $50 grand prize. Winner takes it all. And right now, Marcus Potts in that 33 Menards Camaro is leading. To his outside, you got the 68 of Damon Gilbert, the 51 of Dustin Leaf, and the 93 of Greg Webb. A guy who likes to start in the back and somehow finds his way up there. Greg Webb in third position, or fourth position, excuse me. Dustin Lee's in third position. So they're making their way. The tension's going to build, folks, and this is where you want to tune in. This is where you'll see the quote-unquote big one happen at Talladega, these last few laps. So I know I'm sitting here and I got goosebumps as we're about to go green. That pace car is going to dip into the pits, and we're going to see what happens here on these last few laps at Talladega. Marcus Potts, Damon Gilbert going to be taking us back green. I can't even keep my words straight. I'm so excited to see how this is going to shake out. And there's the green flag. We are on lap 49 of this 50-lap race. Marcus Potts, Damon Gilbert on the front two. Damon Gilbert trying to make it, Greg Webb trying to give him a good push, but it looks like Dustin Lee and Marcus Potts are edging it out in that lower groove. And the tensions are going to be flaring, folks. Don't be surprised if we see a caution here. If a caution does come out, whoever's in first position will be taking home the victory. Marcus Potts, the number 33 car on that lower groove now. The number 9 of Raymond Rittenauer the second right there behind him. And there's a bump in action. Greg Webb into the wall, into the number 78. And we have a caution flag. That's going to give the victory to Marcus Potts. Not the way you want to go out. Not the way you want to go out in a race. But that's why they call it the big one here at Talladega, folks. Last few laps, tensions are high. Accelerated by 200 miles an hour of driving experience. And you're going to get, that's a recipe for disaster. So it looks like Marcus Potts, Raymond Rittenauer the second will be moving up into second place, and Dustin Lee will be taking third. We're going to take a quick break here, get another word in from our sponsor. We'll be back after this, and we'll have some drivers' interviews after this commercial break. And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the finish conclusion series of this race here at Talladega. I'm Dustin Caldwell, on camera there's Michael D'Amico, and what a finish tonight. Fortunately, it had to be the big one, as you see typically at Talladega, giving Marcus Potts the winner. It was a lot of good momentum between Greg Webb and these other guys moving up the field, but Fortunately, it got loose into the wall, and Marcus Potts is our race winner this evening. We're going to see if we can get him on the line. We'll have to be going to our in-car microphone here, as I'm telling the producer. I have to switch it up here. We'll be getting him on the line here. One moment for you here, folks.
Marcus Potts, Caldwell in the booth. Are you there?
Yes, sir.
What a race finish tonight. I know it's typically not the way you want to finish up a race, or any driver wants to finish a race, but a win is a win. And tonight, my friend, you have claimed victory. Tell us a little bit about how you feel at this point.
This is my first league race win, actually, in the whole racing series. I just thank Mason White for helping me out through the pack when we was together. And I guess pit strategy came to play because we was the last group to, I guess, pit. And towards the end, we was thinking we had to pit again. And caution came out, which helped me a whole lot, helped saving, and I had enough to get to the end.
Well, definitely position is everything, and we saw it here tonight. You were in the right position at the right time to claim this victory. Anybody like to give a shout out there in that Nipco Menards car?
Other than JDR helped me with this paint, pretty good paint. He's a great guy. He does all my paints for me. And again, thanks to Mason White helping me through the field.
Wonderful. Want to thank you again for tuning on to this race, and great job here tonight. We're going to go live now to Dustin Lee. Dustin Lee is your second place runner-up finish here tonight. Number 51 car, that Olive Hill welding car. Dustin Lee, are you there? You're there. Excellent job moving to, I know you pretty much were in the top 5 all night and moving through that pack, and was able to get there second position. You started off in 6th and able to move your way into second position. Tell us a little bit about how you feel on this race.
Felt pretty good. Kind of wish we could have, run those last couple of laps out there. I think we might would have had something for him, but the caution flag come out there, so it's what it is.
Yeah, definitely fortunate events for you to pan out to get you into second position. Anybody like to give a shout out here tonight?
Yeah, sponsor All Hill Welding, and same with teammates Damon, Carson, and Steven there. It really helped me out a whole lot during the race. And thank you guys for putting us on.
Well, pleasure to see you race here in the All-Pro Racing League. We're going to move up to the booth, I believe, now here, and we'll get Raymond Rittenauer on the line. He is our third place finisher here tonight. One moment while we do that, folks.
Raymond Rittenauer, this is Dustin Caldwell in the booth. Are you there?
Yes, sir.
Wow, what a move for you tonight. Starting the field in 23rd, moving up through the pack and able to finish third in this race. Now, you got to be quite excited with where you're sitting here this evening.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, we stayed in the back and avoided a bunch of wrecks. And last caution came out. I came in and topped off, and luckily I had enough fuel to stay out and get top 3.
Yeah, definitely worked out for you. I know coming into this race you were 8th in position for points. Definitely going to help you out here tonight. A lot of good moves and a lot of good final positioning. Anybody you want to give a shout out here tonight before we sign off?
Yeah, all the guys at All Pro Racing, Michael, Mitchell, and you guys for putting on a good show. We're
always glad to have you, and we'll look forward to seeing you next week here. That's Ray Rittenauer, the second, folks, your third place finisher here tonight. Want to thank you again for tuning into the All Pro Broadcast Network. One last shout out to our sponsors, Apache Graphics and Race Designs. Check them out on Facebook, Apache Graphics and Race Designs. Ed Whittington has some paint schemes out there on trading paint, so if you're an iRacer, you saw Greg Webb's car, excellent job, and I believe that number 3, Steve Hendren, who blew his engine in this race, was rocking an Apache Graphics and Race Design paint scheme here this evening. Also want to give a shout out to Michelangelo's Painting. If you are in the Mesa, Arizona vicinity and are looking to get some painting done, check them out, Michelangelo's Painting. And we'll give a shout out to Dan's Top Notch Heating and Cooling. They typically wasn't a sponsor for this evening, but we got a commercial in on them. Thank Danny Rudy there, Dan's Top Notch Heating and Cooling. They are a good sponsor for our Monday night Silver Crown race, so if you're looking for some open wheel action, we have that going on. It's a 5 series race. They will be at Chicago next Monday night, so tune into the All Pro Broadcast Network if you're an iRacer and want to get in on that Silver Crown action. Check us on over to our website at www.all-pro-racing.com. You'll find race results, series races, all information you'll ever need to know for the All Pro Racing League. You'll find that on our website, and we're also on Facebook at All Pro Racing. We will be back next week at Auto Club here for this Xfinity Series Tour, this Dash for Cash 5-race series. We want to thank you again for tuning in here tonight on Talladega Motor Speedway. And for Michael D'Amico on cameras, I'm Dustin Caldwell. We will see you next week at Auto Club. Good evening, everyone.